Let's find a place. Give me time and give me space. Give me will, don't give me fame. Give me strength, reserve control. Give me heart, give me soul. Wounds that heal and cracks that fix. Tell me your politics.
My initial reaction was, that is too much to take on board for Normanton. It's a big number, and we felt encouraged by what God had given us, but we weren't fools in it all. We thought, yeah, this is going to take a lot of hard work. So after a while, and I let it digest and prayed upon it, I thought, this is right. It's exciting, but also a lot of fear comes with it. A lot of, I would say, commitment is needed, which is always a little bit it's always a little bit harsh when you're already busy and you think, oh no, I'm going to up it a little bit. So yeah, but I'm pleased that there's a vision for this place. It's great. The contribution that the youth have on achieving the 2012 vision is immense. I mean, I believe that revival will come from the young people, and the commitment to or from the young people to see the vision take hold and really get into the young people's hearts. Only this morning in church we saw the young people sort of lead in waving the flags and things. Weren't prompted to do that, but have sort of have got in their hearts, and I think that the Mission Week especially really is a big part of letting Normanton know that the church is here. So I think the contribution of the youth is probably more important than anything else, personally. The run up to the week, the feelings and the things that we hoped to achieve were more letting people know, as I've said before, letting people see that church is not just a place of coming on a Sunday morning, but it's a breathing, living place 24 hours a day. It's always there for people, whether they want guidance, and we really wanted people to sort of have a different point of view. The stereotypes of a church are always, it's boring, it's full of old women, and obviously that's not the case. And through the Mission Week we wanted to sort of say we can have a laugh. We've got rock bands, we've got hip hop bands, we've got whatever you want. Don't have to be mainstream, but at least we're good. I mean, Cohesion aren't a Christian band, but they came and put on an amazing gig in here inside a church, which sort of blew a lot of people's minds in many ways. And one of the main things is, why did you do that? Why is the church doing this? So the feelings that we were anxious, but we felt happy as we got closer to it, and God sort of made sure that it was going to be fine. It was a lot more successful than I anticipated. The troubles that you have with planning a Mission Week, and in hindsight is a great thing to have, but it's is anyone going to turn up? And thankfully we did. I think that we would do things differently promotional wise, but as I've said, hindsight is it's a blessing to have, and it's just a matter of, as I've said before, young people realising that we're not here to preach to them necessarily through words, but through music, through actions, just through having a time of listening to their problems is all ministry. And I think next time we'll probably do a lot more promotional side of things. We've had feedback in abundance onto the website, and from young people that have come through the doors just through the Mission Week. They've loved it. They never expected a church to do that. There's no other musical event in Normanton, none that I know of. And the main thing that really sort of takes hold of my heart when I'm listening to the young people is when they say, why have you done this? How much are you getting paid for this? How much do we have to pay to get in? And when you say nothing, it really does sort of blow their minds on that, and we sort of try and get into their minds that faith's free, Jesus is for free. It's not something you have to buy into and hopefully we take that away with them. To achieve the 2012 vision, in my opinion, I think that the whole church needs to take hold of what Jesus said, and he didn't say go out and talk to people about God. He actually said make disciples of all men, which means getting one person who doesn't believe in anything to do with God or Jesus and sort of taking them and changing their hearts and allowing the Holy Spirit to change their hearts into people that are going to work for Jesus, whatever their calling may be, learn a purpose. And if we can get people in Normanton, not just in the church but outside the church, to start looking like Jesus did at life, I believe that's when we'll see the vision come to fruition. Specifically, the way that the congregation this morning looks totally packed, the young people worshipping, the older people worshipping, and it's just a matter of us all pulling together, and teamwork, I would say, as corny as that sounds, is the only thing that we're going to get sorted to see this vision come to fruition. It's and then I think submitted to the Holy Spirit as well. Every single person needs to realise that it's not going to be done in a human mind or human actions. It's going to be done through allowing God to work, and that's the only thing I believe will bring it in. My thoughts and feelings for today's youth and their opinions to church, I would say, they just don't know. It's maybe asking someone that hates football what they think about Man United without a knowledge of what Man United are or what football is. They just say, oh, well, I don't like it, it's not an interest. And I basically think that we can be quite negative with young people because we think they're ignorant or we don't want to know, but sometimes churches haven't made it accessible, and they haven't made it a place where young people feel welcome, and they haven't really made Normanton and the surrounding areas a place where people see a church and think, wow, that's a living place. We always seem to be walking around as Christians with our heads down, and it's just a lack of understanding. I think the young people who I work with don't necessarily have a faith, but they know models, and they remember the stories that were told to them in schools, and odd little things that we see as kind of like the story of Noah and things like that sticks with them. And I believe that young people will change. It's just a matter of feeding them the right information from a young age. And as we can see through the Mission Week and through the vision and through little things that are going to come with the growth of the church, I believe that young people will be more susceptible to learning about a spiritual life, specifically with Jesus, and maybe avoid other aspects of spiritual life, such as the dark side that we see them turning to more and more nowadays. So yeah, we just need a hug.
You ready? Now let's go back to the next song. Are you up for it? Are you up for it?
For the young people that I work with to express their faith to other young people through the music that they do. They all love music, and they can bring their mates along. It's not that far, it's about an hour and a half. Bring their mates along, see these bands, mates who aren't Christians, and it's one of the few outlets where quite cheaply they can come and see these bands that are Christians without them being big worshipy bands, but just being normal music that they kind of listen to. With the Community Week, it actually got people out into the community, and when you've got youth work going on as well, that goes out into the community, people notice things are going on. So it doesn't just touch young people, it touches everyone, and everyone begins to see that the church is real and it isn't just Sunday mornings between sort of 10 and 1, and then it shuts down for the week. And actually Christians are there all the time, and they're not that different from anyone else. I've known AVI since they started, about 2.5 years ago. They're all incredibly talented musicians. Most of them actually do music work with other people, either as session musicians or have recorded with other people as well. They're all very talented. They've all got a really strong faith. They all know where they're going, and they all enjoy their stuff. So I think they've got a big potential, and they're also having fun with it, which is more important. I think when any young people are involved in any scheme, such as a band or in sort of a drama group or anything like that, it builds up their sense of identity, it builds up their self-worth, it builds up just their ability to be themselves, and I think that's absolutely amazing, and it helps you learn who you are. And for me, that is as big a sort of thing to come out of AVI as the actual music. Although music is brilliant and the stuff they're writing is brilliant, and they've all grown up and become to know who they are and built friendships as well. I mean, not coming from Normanton, I haven't seen around the bout so much what the success was, but I certainly know that on the night, and the nights of all the gigs, everyone really enjoyed it, and the young people I work with who came up for those gigs keep talking about it and keep talking about what a good night it was. And they found that the musicians who were actually here are all really approachable, and they've been able to sit and chat to them and things like that in a way that maybe they wouldn't do with sort of just someone who sat in the pew on the Sunday morning. I think the vision will take a lot of hard work, and I mean there's a lot of hard work going in already, but I think it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of prayer, a lot of keeping listening to what God wants. I think it needs a lot of forward planning, so that when you get there, you've got all the structures that means that everyone's really happy.
First impression of the church when I joined was that it was a church which wanted to do things in the power of the Spirit, wanted to worship God in all his fullness, and also wanted to reach out into the community. my plans and goals are that this church should be a reflection of the glory of God, and that in our prayer and in our worship, it's all about bringing God down into Normanton, so that out of the church will spring rivers of living water, as it were, to touch the hearts of the people of Normanton itself. Well, the vision of 2012 for 2012 came out of a meeting of the leadership of the church. We've got a leadership of 7 people, which I head up, people who have responsibility for different areas of ministry within the church. And we had a meeting